Welcome to A Ball and a Chance. I'm your host, Angela Lewis, and this is part two of my interview with Marilyn Nelson. Marilyn, thank you so much for doing part two.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Angela.
You're welcome. You're welcome. This is going to be so much fun.
It is.
So, in the first episode, we talked about Marilyn's basketball history and playing with the All American Redheads. If you have not checked that one out, definitely check that one out. And today, we're going to dive into Marilyn's experience playing, some coaching, some educating globally. So we're going to talk about Maryland's global experiences in sport and how that shaped her. As always, Maryland has some wonderful articles and pictures to show. So excited to dive into it.
Okay.
All right. Let's begin where we left off.
Okay.
All American Redheads. After playing with the All American Redheads, you went to Canada.
I went to Canada to go to graduate school.
How did that come about?
Well, I was playing on a fast pitch softball team in Minnesota, and the coach, who's Canadian, would come down during the summers because many of the players were her best friends. And she would spend the summers in Minnesota, and that's where I met her. And we got to talking about basketball, and one thing led to another. And she's the head coach at Lakehead University in Thunder Bay, Ontario. And lo and behold, did 2 years in my graduate studies at Lakehead University in Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Well, you never know who you're going to meet in sport, and you don't know who's connected to who, because sports people, although it's a softball coach, had basketball friends, and coaches and people have friends of all different sports. So that's really fascinating. Tell me, what did your family say when you decided to
go
to Canada?
To Canada, they were happy because it was another opportunity for education. And I was, pretty much finished with the Redheads, 141 games in one season. That was sufficient. And
A lot of
so,
games.
that was an opportunity to upgrade your education. And at the time, I didn't know it, that I'd be working with Dr. Brent Rushall, who was from Australia, who was an internationally known sports psychologist. And he was my thesis advisor.
Wow. What was your thesis? What did you study?
My thesis was on the prediction of world records in track and field and swimming, using a time series analysis, which was something that was kind of new at that time, which took the distance between the new record and the old record and the time between it to try to predict what new records would be in the future. But it didn't take into consideration, like for the pole vault, when they went from the steel one to the fiberglass pole, and everybody's just zooming up, And even for the swimming, we have the national swim coach at university in Canada, and he actually would look at the stats, and he could probably give a better guess than even the computer printout.
That's really impressive. That's really, really interesting. So you were there, you were playing basketball. You before we started recording, you were telling me how you ended up getting 2 more years of eligibility.
Right. For my freshman year, I was not at Midland College.
Okay.
I was at a previous college, and in those days, that was considered a club team. And then they considered, now in Canada, they considered the Redheads, it wasn't a part of a league. So that way I got an extra 2 years. Their big thing was all these hockey players getting extra years.
Yes.
And so I've slid in right between their rules, and legally.
It was legal, yeah.
Legally got to play 2 more years. Yeah.
That's so much fun. Tell me, what was that experience like in Canada? Were all of your teammates Canadian, or did you have teammates at that time from other places? Because Canada's pretty diverse.
Thunder Bay, Ontario, it's located north of Minnesota.
Okay.
So it's on the edge of one of the Great Lakes, and one of the coldest places. It was cold. It was cold in the wintertime. And Lakehead University was known for its forestry majors. So most of the people there were majoring in forestry. For our basketball team, it was Canadians, although we had 2 gals that came over from Montreal.
Okay.
And French was their first language. but in Canada, that's considered the two languages, so they could ask for their exams in French.
Oh,
Mhm.
I didn't know that was. In the U.S., I don't know if that's a thing. Like if you can ask for your exams in another language.
Well, because French and English were official
Oh, it's
languages
because
of the
it's the official.
government,
Got it. Got it. That
they could do that.
okay.
I mean,
No.
we played basketball in English, but I'm sure under their breath we were hearing French that,
Right.
whatever.
Yes. 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 So you're playing in Canada,
Mhm.
and you ended up in Guatemala
I did that too.
after Canada.
After Canada, yes.
How did you end up in Guatemala?
It started out by going with a group called Sports Evangelism,
Okay.
and we were a basketball team. Most of the girls were from Bethel College or Bethel University in St. Paul, Minnesota, and they pulled me in to be one of the players to go with them.
Okay.
And we played with Sports Evangelism. They set up different locations for us to play, and at a halftime they would present the gospel, and we would hand out the literature and everything.
Mhm.
And it was a really neat experience. Got to meet the coaches at the National University of Mexico through that group, and we played at UNAM, which is the big national university
In Guatemala.
and this is in Mexico. We haven't got to Guatemala yet.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
it was through that group I got to Guatemala.
Oh, so you went from Canada to Mexico to Guatemala.
Yeah, but no, I didn't live in Mexico. It was just a trip.
Right.
And then from there met people through that particular group,
Yeah.
and then got to Guatemala.
You just never know who you're gonna meet. That's the
Well-
beauty of community and
Mhm.
sport. And I mentioned earlier, I have a new children's book coming out. And one of the lines in the book is Destiny's this little girl who loves basketball. And
Mhm.
one of the lines is, now Destiny never feels alone because she knows any court in the world feels like home.
Absolutely.
And so that
Yeah,
sounds
that's
like
like we talked before Philippines, we played out in the street and the cars and everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Any
And in
court.
Mexico, okay, the trick in Mexico was you'd stand at half court before the game and you'd look at the baskets. And if the rim was tilted up, you took that one first half. If the rim was tilted down, we want that one second half.
that is key when you're playing.
Yep.
To make sure
Yep.
you want the rim that's going to get you.
And even sometimes the court would be up, where are we going to run? Uphill or downhill? And
That's
offense.
funny.
So, yeah.
And it didn't matter. You love to play. You
Mhm.
play anywhere.
And when we played the National University of Mexico, we actually played on a beautiful wooden outdoor court.
Wooden outdoor?
Mhm.
Was it covered?
No roof. So
And it was wood?
And it was wood. I don't know how they did it, but it was
I
gorgeous.
wonder if they cover it.
I would hope so.
If you know a wooden outdoor court, please send us a link.
Yes.
We would love to know how
How you keep it, but it was lovely.
That is so cool.
And with the big backboards and everything, just like if you were inside.
Do you prefer indoor courts or outdoor courts?
If you're playing serious, let's go inside.
Good point. Good point.
If you're playing, but see now in Mexico we played a lot of outdoor because again you're going to these small little places,
Yep.
and you have your purpose is more than just basketball.
Yes.
It's for the community, and so you just played on wherever they took you.
Right. You showed up and
Whether
played.
there's boards in the backboard or not, and then you played there.
In our first interview, you talked about you just had a rim and a hoop, and your dad put it up, and you fell in love with the game.
Mhm.
How do you feel when you see hoops and courts?
Oh, I feel at home.
Yeah.
We were talking like I'm doing substitute teaching, and yesterday I was at the high school, and I had a break, and there were kids in the gym, and I went over and I was playing a little volleyball with one of the teachers, and then they all left, and I went and just picked up the basketball.
It's like it calls you, right?
It's like I'm back. I'm back home. I'm back home.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're here. Now, don't ask me to shoot any 3-point shots, but I will get him. I'll get you some.
Earlier, you were talking about the hook shot. and how.
Right. I had to learn that because back in my day, you didn't have pickup games with girls.
Yeah.
You had to play with the boys. And for me to get some shots off, and if I didn't get a pick, I had to do a hook shot.
You did the sky hook.
I
like
did. I did a real sky hook.
Yeah.
Not this little jumpy
Little
stuff.
baby hooks.
No baby hooks for me, man. I had to.
It is
wing it.
so amazing to see when you look back at the recordings of the sky hook that that it was a really high percentage shooting shot.
Oh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had it.
To be able to get that off, he's
Had
fascinating.
it, and nobody could block it.
You can't block it. You literally have to go around across his body and knock him down. And he was so long. I mean,
Yeah, he was 7'1" or something like that with the
So
long arms.
you
There
can't
was
do
no
anything
way.
with it.
No way.
Yeah. No, that's
He got the
amazing.
ball, and you knew what was coming, and nobody could do anything about it.
Nothing.
That's right.
Nothing at all.
That's right.
So we have you in Guatemala.
Right.
And then you end up in Singapore. Russia first. No.
Let's see. Russia wasn't until the 90s.
Okay.
Okay.
So you ended up in Singapore? Was Singapore before Russia?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Let's talk about.
Okay.
Well,
This is
here's what-
Singapore was after Vietnam.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
So you're in Singapore.
Yes.
And when we met initially, you told me about table tennis, and you were the English coach for the table tennis team. How did that come about?
Okay. That I was in Vietnam.
Vietnam.
And one of my best Vietnamese friends was probably the #1 table tennis teacher for kids in Ho Chi Minh City. And so I learned from her. And then she gave me to another coach. So I was, I got beat a lot, but I was having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And they were having a big tournament in Ho Chi Minh City, and Singapore was there. I wanted to see if I could get my friend a better shot to be able to teach in Singapore.
Oh.
And there was one person's name. I said, I got to meet this lady. So I went up to the Singapore team and said, where is Miss Amy? And they said, well, she'll be coming. And it was through Miss Amy that got us a chance, both of us, to go to Singapore, teach table tennis with Singapore Table Tennis Association. That's how it started.
How did you know Miss Amy was the plug?
Well, she was one of the sponsors or one of the leaders with the team, and actually worked at Singapore Table Tennis Association. And I didn't have, because many of them were from China, the players, and I needed a Singaporean so I could speak English to that person to find out what the scoop was.
Got it.
And through that, she got us there.
What fascinates me about your journey, and we're not even at the end. I mean, there's so many more turns that y'all are going to hear. But what fascinates me is you went after it, and you took chances, and you took risks, and you just were so open. You didn't have all the answers. You didn't know how everything was going to play out. And this was a time where you couldn't Google it. Like there was no Google Maps.
We were just barely getting into cell phones,
right?
And in Vietnam, we were with pagers, and cell phones were just coming in.
What made you? What is it about you that says, yeah, why not? Let's try it.
When you're somebody whose motion is my thing, and so it's you just got to keep moving.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I was talking to one of the sports teachers yesterday, and she was talking about our first part 1. And I said, how do you spell faith? R-I-S-K.
Ooh, that is so good.
And if you don't, you just said it. If you don't have faith to take the risk, you'll never get on the airplane or pack the bag or whatever it takes to get you to the next point.
Never.
And adventure, maybe I'm an adrenaline junkie. I don't know from sports, but it was just one adventure to the next. And it was just like, okay, what's the next one?
How did you build community? Some people are afraid to go places that they don't know or to be with people they don't know. And because there's always a trade-off. So when I lived in Colombia, I would miss birthday parties or celebrations. How did you manage those trade-offs?
I would go to their birthday parties and their celebrations. I would learn their language.
Yeah.
And so, like in Guatemala, while I was there, that's as soon as we got there, started taking Spanish lessons to be able, because at that time, not that many people spoke English generally, and especially on the team. Very few people did. So I had, and another gal that went with me first, we had to go and step into their world.
Oh, instead of assuming that they should be
In my world.
in your world. Yeah, because you were in their country, in their culture.
I'm in their house. Yeah.
I'm going to reposition because I have to go on some tour date.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to keep going. We're going to
Keep going. Look, she'll cut it later. Okay.
Yes. So you were saying that you stepped into the world and you learned the language. How was that? Some people are afraid to learn new language. Did people laugh at you?
Well, Vietnam, they sure did
Mm-hmm.
because of the tonal language. And especially if they didn't understand you, they'd laugh and turn their back because they were embarrassed for you and they'd walk away. But in Guatemala, if you made the attempt, then people would help you. And we were on one team first with that first gentleman that brought us in.
Mm-hmm.
That took me to another situation where I went back with Wycliffe Bible translators to teach at Christian Academy of Guatemala.
Okay.
Through that, I met people who had another team. The Inde Bantram, which I showed you, we were.
Would you like to show the article?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. And so there was one gal on that team who seemed to understand my broken Spanish, and then she would interpret to everyone else what I was trying to say. And so here we are, Inde Bantram. And that was so nice because I wasn't short there. And they seemed to always get me in some really weird pictures.
That is so
I didn't quite get the block, but they got a good picture.
You were up there. Okay, you have some help.
Not be okay. And not so much. And here, this is with Inde Liceo was the men's team, and we were the champions of the league. And at that time they had 3 phases of the league, and we were champions. We were the tri-champion of the year.
Okay, that is so cool.
And our coach, he actually played on that men's team.
Oh, he played on the men's team and coached y'all.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
And so and then they get the sponsor for the team. And I did play softball when I was in Guatemala too.
You played softball as well.
Yeah. But that was an amazing experience. Many times in the newspaper, this one they had my name right, but they called me Mary. They called me all kinds of different names. But that's okay. We knew who we were.
Exactly.
Yes.
Which is what matters most.
So anyway.
No, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. I remember being in Colombia and leading this basketball clinic and have another one plan in May with this nonprofit. And I remember looking at the girls and they would come up to me and they would just start talking. And I'm like, baby, I don't know what you said. Then I'd give her a high five and they'd smile. And then, it's like you end up learning. If you're there long enough, you learn. You say classes, you learn. But sport is this great equalizer. It doesn't matter. You talk about it in the Philippines. Like, it doesn't matter how much of the language you know. One, you have people who will help you.
Right.
If you're on the court with people, I think sport is one of the few places that language is taught, and it could be a tremendous place to help cultures connect. Specifically with language.
I'll give you a key for Spanish though.
Okay.
You read their faces. And if they're real serious, they say blah, blah, blah. You go, de veras. It means really. And if they're you go, de veras? Really?
That is good.
So, and then they thought I knew that I understood, and they were happy.
Which is important.
But yes, I might not have understood much, but I read their faces.
taking social cues is key. Will you give some, you're fluent in Spanish.
Sí,
Hablas español
sí,
fluido.
podemos hablar en español, no hay ningún problema.
Ah, qué bueno. Podemos hablar hablamos en español un poquito.
Sí, podemos.
Okay, we can talk a little bit in Spanish.
Sí,
because
vamos a
I'm not
hablar.
quite fluent. Okay. I want to share some Spanish words that are connected to basketball. Okay, so if you're ever, when you're in a Spanish-speaking country, ¿cómo se dice? Is how you ask. How do you say?
How do you say it?
So,
And the first word you learn is, the first phrase, ¿Dónde está el baño?
where is
It's
the bathroom? Yes. So I'm going to do a basketball clinic in Colombia in a few months. And
You may need an interpreter.
sí, es posible. We need to talk about this. I think it would be so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay. No.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask different words. ¿Cómo se dice dribble in Spanish?
Dribble. In these days, you can probably, because basketball is so international, you can probably just say dribble.
Okay. ¿Cómo se dice shoot?
I believe it's shoot. Tocar? No. Anyway, a lot of them, even in Guatemala, would go, shoot, shoot.
Oh, good point.
Just go, shoot, shoot.
Okay.
And then you got it. Shoot.
Perfect. ¿Cómo se dice run faster?
Correr más rápido.
Correr más rápido. Rápido.
Rápido.
How do you say come here?
And you go this way.
Yes.
No, you go this way. If you
go
this way, like in Guatemala, if you call people this, you're just calling a dog.
Oh.
So you need to know,
That's good to
in
know.
Colombia, sometimes if I didn't know, I kind of go like this.
In the middle. That's smart.
But in Guatemala, you had to go like this. Ven acá. Ven acá.
Ven acá.
Ven acá.
Ven acá.
Ven acá.
Ven.
Then come acá.
¿Cómo se dice? Ven acá.
Ven acá.
How do you say? ¿Cómo se dice coach?
El entrenador.
¿Cómo?
O la entrenadora.
La entrenadora. I have to work on my R.
Tú eres una entrenadora.
Sí. Soy.
Yo estoy una entrenadora.
Yo estoy una entrenadora. See, Spanish lessons on the ball and everything.
If you noticed, your hand, this will mean me.
Yes.
Me. I am. Yo soy.
¿Cómo se dice? I love basketball.
I'm going to use a different word than love. Me fascina tocar. Me fascina jugar el baloncesto.
Me fascina jugar
el baloncesto. El baloncesto. I am fascina is kind of be fascinated.
Okay.
Okay. They use that a lot, especially in Guatemala.
Perfect. Let's see. One more.
Okay.
¿Cómo se dice? I love playing on this team.
Me gusta jugar en este equipo. I like to play in this team.
Me gusta jugar en este
equipo.
See, when you go to a Spanish-speaking country, you'll have some Spanish words.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, we get from Guatemala. We're in Singapore. Let's
go
back to Singapore.
Okay,
we're around the world. Okay, back to Singapore. You're in Singapore, and you make your way there. You are teaching English to the table tennis because you went and hunted the lady down, and you found the club. And
she was the key.
Okay,
when you asked for a divine connection, Auntie Amy was the key, and she had been there long enough and had a status within the association that when she spoke, people listened.
Look for those people. Those are the people that you want to find.
And so she got my friend and I there, my Vietnamese friend in there. The problem was I tried to teach her English in Vietnam, but she didn't take it seriously.
Okay.
So that really hurt her opportunity to stay.
Amy, your friend Amy?
No, for my friend from Vietnam.
Oh, you're from
my
Vietnam.
Vietnamese friend. So she had to go back, but I got to stay. because our visa situations are different. And then I went to do teaching English, and then Auntie Amy got me started with some of the younger players from China.
Okay.
And through that, it became Singapore Table Tennis Association, because they were the number one association in the country and had the best international results. So you have the most money.
Yep.
They were able to hire me as a full-time ESL instructor for the national teams and then the younger players coming up.
Do you feel that there are still opportunities for that
In Singapore?
around the world?
Around the world.
So if there are other people who are educators, I love how your story combines basketball, but you had a professional skill. You could teach English, you taught English, and then ministry was a part of your journey as well. So between those three, you were able to continue to find opportunities and seek opportunities, and sport was a part of it.
Okay, remember when we went back to the risk?
Yes.
For me, most of the time, I had to go there. Take the risk to go there. Then the doors opened and the connections were made.
You weren't sitting in Minnesota and
I wasn't sitting somewhere waiting for something to happen. I was in Vietnam. The door opened to go take my Vietnamese friend, to Singapore. Then everything opened up after that, even though she had to go back.
yeah. That's so powerful. Really powerful. And in Singapore, you won. 1L.
In 2008, the women's national team took silver at the Beijing Olympics in the team.
Okay.
Now, in between here, you have your Pro Tour, you have your Southeast Asian Games, you have your Commonwealth Games, you have your Asian Games, et cetera, et cetera. But then in 2010, the women won the world team title, which team is every 2 years. Okay. But China had won it for over 35 years. This was a major blow to the Chinese table tennis people. And to this day, it's still called the Miracle in Moscow. And we were just unbelievable. We didn't know all the stuff that would happen after that. Okay, so one of the things was, if you looked on their jerseys, there's only one patch of a sponsor. After that, because Singapore is a base for all these international corporations, now they wanted their patches on there. So they would have signing events. And because people from Singapore Table Tennis Association, Singapore, they speak Singlish law. So they had me be the MC for all these signing events. Not that it wasn't about me.
Yeah.
I speak English. Because they are probably if it's a company from Germany,
Right.
we all have to be able to understand what's going on. So I was the one who did that.
That is amazing.
But it was fun.
And that was
up and go do that. Yeah.
And it wasn't a part of your plan. You had no idea that
No
opportunity
idea.
would
They just
come.
said, all right, the gal who would be setting it up from Singapore Table Tennis Association, or called STTA, would say, okay, we're going to such and such a place at such a time, and we're going to do okay. I even did the emceed one of their big year-end banquets, which was like tough gig. The following year, they got somebody else. I'm going,
What made it tough?
because a lot of people didn't want to be there,
Oh, damn.
and you have to try to get them.
The energy up, and then the
Yeah,
days,
the president is kind of like, she was also a member of parliament, and it's like, we got to go do this thing. You do your best, and you just keep on going. It's like, well, you didn't have to pay me extra to do this. So anyway, all of those opportunities came, and you're standing in front of all kinds of people from all different places, and in Singapore, you don't know what ranking they are within in the meritocracy. And so it was a real interesting situation. But let me tell you one thing, especially with the Chinese players, and then even the Singaporeans, which were just a few. If you were their teacher, forever and ever and ever, they will call you teacher. They will never call you by your name. So today, if I went and saw some of these players, they would call me teacher.
Not Miss Nelson.
Not
never,
Marilyn,
Marilyn.
not Miss Nelson, not
And never, like, you never grow out of it. The
no,
people who
the
teach you are always
the
at us.
status, how the Chinese look at the teacher
Yeah.
is it was pretty amazing. It's so much so that even the Singaporean kids started calling me teacher. And I asked, well, I mean, let's just keep it all the same. But I never learned Chinese. Number one, because Singaporean Chinese is not very good. Number two, if they knew I spoke Chinese, they wouldn't speak English with me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And the goal
So-
is to teach them English.
And so when they went to all these events worldwide, everything was in English. And so they had to read, be able to know when they played and who they played and when's their next game and all these different things. So English was very important. They kind of sometimes got a little lazy and wouldn't do interviews in English, but at least they knew enough to be able. Some of them got very good.
Yeah.
And then I had to teach them the national anthem of Singapore, which is in Malay.
Oh.
Because Singapore started out with Malay, which became Malaysia. Then in the 60s, Malaysia said, goodbye, Singapore. And so their national anthem is still in Malay. And so I had to teach them all, thank you, YouTube, for that. Because especially for Southeast Asian games, they were going to win gold.
Yeah.
And they didn't want them standing on the podium singing watermelon, watermelon.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
They had to sing the national anthem and move their lips and stuff. So that was part of the deal too.
That is really fascinating. You said a couple of things that I want to bring together. One, you were always every place that you went in service to others. You played basketball, but you went there because you were doing ministry work. Basketball was a part of it. You were teaching and learning table tennis. Everything there's a component of service. Where does that come from as a part of who you are?
That comes from, well, I think probably from my dad. My dad was a very servant-minded individual. But once you start going overseas, and I'm sure you understand this, that if you don't come with a servant heart, they're not going to listen to you.
That's true. That's a
They're
very
not
good
going to
point.
listen to you. If you come and say, well, hey, I'm the big American and you have to do it this way and that way, you might as well get a ticket and go home.
Yeah.
You have to learn their way. Yeah. Okay. Do I have to think all the way that they do? Not necessarily. But if I'm going to live in your culture and I have to learn your language, or so that we can respect one another.
Yeah.
And so that's just one of those things. If you travel overseas, you really need to do that.
Yeah.
If you plan on staying for a while.
That's so good. That's so good. You say your dad had a servant heart. In what way? What did your dad do?
Oh, he did different things in the church. He did the prayer ministry. He did this, and he just loved to referee basketball games. And one of his biggest thrills when he and I refereed some girls together. We were the zebras.
Oh, that is
and
special.
he just thought that was the best thing ever. And it was. And so that just it was an example.
Yeah.
And that's how we learn. It just doesn't fall on you. It starts somewhere.
It does.
It starts somewhere.
Oh, that's so special. Now, you've done some triathlons, biathlons.
Well, no, let me say triathlon. I was the biker.
Okay.
I did the relays. I did
triathlon relays.
Relays.
Sorry. I saw the medals when I walked in and I was just blown away. Where did those take place and why?
Okay. When I moved to the Philippines after Singapore, I got to know, you get on bikes and you get to know people. And I got invited to do rides with the Team Trinity and then became part of the group. And we would go. I didn't realize that triathlon was so popular in the Philippines. I mean, you have the Ironman, half Ironman,
Yeah.
and then they would more recently they brought in the full Ironman, a couple of them, and then they had local ones all over the place. And so, when you do the relay, you have to do the long event. So you can't do a shorter event on the relays. So to do that half Ironman relay, I as a biker did 90 kilometers or 56 miles. And an Ironman, you had a limit of 4 hours. And I'm not real fast, so I would do about 3.5 hours.
3.5 hours on a bike without getting off.
Right.
Oh, you don't stop at all.
No.
You don't stretch
No.
enough.
No.
Oh my God.
And you might grab the drinks that they have for you.
But you're literally on the bike for 3 hours.
We're on the bike, yeah. And
Okay.
because then I have to get back in and then get back to get the little timer, I have to get that to my runner. And if I don't get back in time, then my runner can't go.
It's incredible what we're capable of. I'm so inspired by this conversation. I need to do more with my life. I need to do more. I may not be on a bike, but I think what I really enjoy about talking to you and getting to know you is that there's so much, like you said, keep moving, but I can't imagine being on a bike for 3 hours, but it's absolutely possible because clearly you're doing it. And so
now remember, that's half an Ironman.
Amazing.
So a full Ironman, you're doing 180 kilometers. I'm still thinking in kilometers because that's what I did it in. So you'll have to figure out how many miles 180 kilometers is.
That's a lot. It's a lot of
is.
miles.
I mean, if I'm on a bike for 3.5 hours, they're on 6 or 7 hours
That is just,
to do the full.
it is the human spirit and what we're capable of is far more than we probably give ourselves credit for. And it's inspiring to hear just how far someone has gone because you can evaluate and say, oh, maybe I can push a little bit more. We can put the phones down. We can put the computers down and do more with these bodies, especially if we're gifted to be in good health. That's a gift that so often we take for granted.
Yeah. And, I have people ask me, well, I tell them keep moving. Well, do I have to ride a bike? I said, no. If you like to swim, swim.
Yeah.
If you're going to do canoeing, go canoe. Find that thing that you like, that really you love to enjoy, and go do it.
Yeah. When I was in Colombia, I developed a love of salsa dancing. Now, I've always loved to dance. Before I started playing basketball, dancing, I would turn on music and dance around the house all the time. And then I got to Colombia and started salsa dancing and absolutely love it. And then there are certain things that just, like you said, light your spirit up. And then if you can do those things with other people, like riding the bikes and dancing or basketball, of course, that's the foundation. But it makes life more enriching.
It does. And when we find that movement that touches our soul, I mean, we get, the happy hormones going. And it makes it, like you said, it makes our life happier.
Yeah. It does.
So like tomorrow I'll go out on the bike. Or I might even go this afternoon. We'll see. And I'll be with friends from the bike shop. And it will be a happy time.
Community is so important.
Yes.
For me tomorrow, I am going to St. Louis. This will come out after our weekend adventure, but I'm going to St. Louis. I have a friend who has a nonprofit called Show Me the World Project, where there are students who travel abroad. And tomorrow is 314 Day, which is St. Louis Day. Our area code is 314. So tomorrow's 314 Day, and I am emceeing the fundraising event.
Oh, wonderful.
And the theme is Stamp the Passport. So there are all of these stations where someone can go to and they'll get a fictitious passport. But the station that I'm also leading is the salsa dancing station.
There you go.
And so what ends up happening is when you're passionate about something and you enjoy it joyfully, it ends up impacting the people in your circle
Yeah.
because they see your
Yeah.
joy and want a part of that, or you get to share that with them, and that
Mhm.
makes it even better.
Yeah, and like yesterday, I was subbing at the high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I was telling you that I went into the gym because it was International Day, and they were all doing their things, and so a couple little boys, and I pick up a ball and said, "Well, let's see if it can spin." And not all of them spin well,
No,
and I spun it, and they're going, "Oh, you can spin a ball." It's like, "Yep,
the most basic things people are impressed by. Yeah,
yes."
yeah. That's so funny.
So, but it was just that normal thing. You walk in, you see a basketball. You and I see a basketball. You got to pick it up and do something with it.
You do.
Right?
It's like it calls you. Come here.
It's like, come
Bang a cop.
then
Bang a
it,
cop.
then it,
Bang a
then it, then
cop.
it, then it.
Look, this has been so, so wonderful. So wonderful. I just thank you again.
Mhm.
I want to wrap this up with, how did you end up in Texas? How did we end up?
Okay. Can I go back just a little bit? I
Absolutely.
was in Australia on staff at a residential rehab for women, but riding my bike, and I did a half Ironman relay in Australia while there. And that's when COVID hit. And I did not have the proper visa to be able to stay. And so I was planning on going back to the Philippines, but that is out. So I called my sister-in-law who's here, and I came to Texas. But then, most of my everything is in Florida.
Mhm.
So my friends in Florida said, "Come on back." Actually work there for Pay Center for Girls for 4 years. And it was like all my family is here, and I'd never lived near them.
Yeah.
And I came to visit a couple of times, and the last time I came to visit, it's like, it's time.
That's when you can feel
It's
it.
time.
Yeah.
It's time. Even though, as I was telling you, I had the best boss ever there.
Mhm.
It was time, and she knew it was time. And many of my friends there knew it was time. So it's been a year now. I came to Texas to be near my family. And tomorrow, my nephew's kids, they
Mhm.
both have birthdays in March. So we're having the birthday party,
Oh,
7 and 10. And so that's why
yeah.
I'm here, because I've never lived near them. And it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah.
And it's still going, it's still developing, but that's why I'm in Texas.
Well,
I'm trying to be a good Texan. But when it's cold, I'm really waiting for it in.
you have a completely different context of cold and hot here
Yes.
because after living in Florida for so long.
Yeah.
No, this
Well,
is wonderful.
and the Southeast Asia
Yes.
for over 20 years.
Yes, it was
Yes.
very warm there. It is your your journey is so beautiful because what I learned from you is that at different times in life we make decisions that are risky but are full of faith,
Mm.
and God always directs us. There's some things we know that we know, but we don't necessarily know why we know. We just know.
That's very true. We don't know why. It's just go.
Yeah.
Yes, just get on the plane and go, or drive, or
Like, oh,
whatever.
you just have to go.
Mhm.
And things work out in ways that you can't
Mhm.
always explain. So I am so grateful.
And I am
So
grateful
grateful.
too. Thank you. This has been an amazing journey. All since back at meeting at TCU,
Mhm.
and just to see the response of part one
Yeah.
that you beautifully put together and put out, and we'll just see what the next thing is.
Yes, you never know. You never know. And part one, will you share a little bit about the response that you've gotten from part one from family and friends?
Oh,
So check it out.
many people I sent it out to my friends first. They're going, "Love it. When is part two coming?" Or, "This is amazing." Or, "I didn't know that."
Mhm.
I got a lot of those. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. And it did go out all over the world.
Yeah.
It's gone out all over the world. And then you put on Facebook, but I just put it on Messenger and starts hitting send, send, send.
I didn't tell you this. I sent it to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame.
Oh, really?
I did. I
Oh,
did. I sent it, and the point of contact there loved it
oh, good.
and
Wonderful.
was really excited to meet you. She says, "I think I met her before. I don't know if it was at the induction ceremony." And I said, "Well, no, because she wasn't in the country."
Mhm.
However, you never know. We'll have to talk about this later to get you
Yeah.
to the Hall of Fame because I
Yes,
think you would
I
love it. It's
definitely want to
amazing.
get there. I have to see that. I have to see that. Have my picture taken in front of the car.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about it more. But
Okay. Well,
thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of A Ball and a Chance. As always, you can check us out on YouTube, on all the places podcasts are listed, and you can also on my website, AngelaRLewis.com. Thanks.
thank you. Thank you.